So with that, let's create our first field. So to do that, just go to Manage Fields, click on Add Field, and then from the Add a New Field drop-down, let's select number decimal because we need to store the price of our product. And in label, entering the label of the field, you can see that machine name is automatically generated, and then just click on Save and Continue. And then here you can configure some options on the field type, but let's just leave everything as is and click on Save Field Settings. Let's make it required, and then let's just put in a bit of help text. What can we put there? Product price. No. Let's make this useful. Product unit price. So let's scroll down a bit and add in a $sign as our prefix, and the suffix will be AUD for Australian dollar because I am based in Australia. And then click on Save Field Settings. Now let's create another field. And this field will be a list, and the name of the field will be a type where you can select kind of like a product type, for example. So again, click on Add Field and then select List Text, and let's give it a label of type, and then click on Save and Continue. And now we need to define our options here. So let's enter in Drupal. So this will be the value, and then you put in a pipe, and then this will be the label of Drupal. You can see that it's capitalized. And let's add in WordPress, and then capitalize it, and let's put in Joomla, and then capitalize it, and then click on Save Field Settings. And then you can see this is what it looks like. It's a simple select widget, and then click on Save Settings. Perfect. Now, if we open up another tab and then go to Add Content, Product, you can see our widgets right here. And then I will call this Awesome Product. And let me just put in some dummy text in again. And then I'll give it a price of $120. And let's select Drupal as the type and click on Save. So here is our awesome product. We have our body field here, we have our price, and we have our type. And you can see how easy it is to create your content model with Drupal. It's very easy to create your content types and attach fields to them. And this is what makes Drupal very, very powerful. Of course, other platforms now allow you to create different post types and fields and stuff like that. But Drupal was the first, and still is, in my opinion, the most powerful when it comes to creating custom content types and fields. Of course, I'll be a little biased, but I do think Drupal is the best at that. Now let's create another field on our product content type. And this field will be the product image. But before we create our field, let's enable one module, and that is the media module. So click on Extend and then search for Media, and then click on Install. And then go to Structure, Content Types, and then click on Manage Fields on our product row, and then click on Add Field. And what we'll do is we'll add in the media field, which is under Reference. And we'll call this Product Image. And then click on Save and Continue. And then make sure media is selected as your type of item to reference, and click on Save Fields. And then select under media type, select image, and then click on Save Field Settings. So if we open up, let me just clean up these tabs. Let me just open up another tab. And then if we go and edit our awesome product, you can see that we get this auto-complete field. And we first need to create our media type, because now in Drupal, it is recommended that you create an image via the media module instead of attaching an image field directly to the content type, because this then allows you to reuse images. So if I was to click on this link, which will open up a new tab, and then I'll call this Drupal logo stacked. And what I'll do is I'll open up my folder of awesome Drupal logos. And let me put in this stacked one. And I'll call this Drupal logo stacked. and then click on Save. And when you install the media module, you do get a new tab under content called media. And from here, you can manage all of your reusable media assets. And you can also filter by name as well. So now that we have created our media image or image via the media module, if we go back to our product and just search for Drupal logo stacked and click on Save. And if we view our awesome product, we can see our image, our product image. Now let's look at other things when it comes to managing fields. And the first thing is the ability to reuse fields. So if we go to Manage Fields and click on Add Field, and then under Reuse an Existing Field, from here we can reuse any field which has been added to other content types. So you can see here that we have comment, we have field underscore tags, and also this image field, which was used on the article content type. But in our case, let's just use this tags field. So we'll reuse it because there's no point of creating like 5 or 6 different tags fields if you can easily just reuse it. And then let's just click on Save and Continue. And what we'll do is scroll all the way down, and then under reference type, select create reference entities if they don't already exist. This is important for tags. And then just click on tags and then save settings. And then under manage form display, we need to find our tags and then change autocomplete to autocomplete tags style. And then just click on save. And then if we edit our product, you can see that tags has been added. And then if we search for Drupal, we can see Drupal is there. If we search for WordPress, we can see WordPress is there. If we add in, I don't know, React or something, React.js. Now that term hasn't been found because it doesn't exist, but because we have checked this checkbox, create reference entities if they don't already exist, it should just automatically create them. And then if we hit save, you'll see that React.js has been automatically created. Now let's go back to our manage fields, and I want to talk about one feature of a field, and that is the ability to define multiple values. So let's take the price field, for example. If we go and edit the price field and then click on field settings, you'll see that the allowed number of values is limited to 1. So this means that we can only define, so if we go back and edit our awesome product, if we go back here, you can see that we can only define one price. If we were to change this to unlimited, we can then refresh this page and then we can define an unlimited amount of prices. Of course, you wouldn't want to do this because, why have multiple prices? But in a Drupal field, you can define multiple values. So let me just change that back to 1. And what I'll do is I will demonstrate it on this type field. Okay, so if we were to change this to multiple values, so right now you can only select one value. What would happen if we change this to unlimited? If we go in here and edit it, let's have a look. You will see that now this is a multi-select element. You can select multiple options, which is great. And then if we were to change the widget, so let's go to manage form display and find our type. And so right now select list is selected, which is fine. But let's change it to checkboxes / radio buttons and hit save. Now you may have noticed that there's no way of actually selecting a checkbox or radio button. How do you actually tell Drupal what to use? Well, that's actually controlled by the options of the allowed number of values. So if we were to change, so let's go back to manage fields and edit it, and let's have a look and see, and this is unlimited, so the number of values is unlimited. So now, so the widget should be checkboxes because you can select multiple values. If we were to change this to 1, then it automatically switches to a radio button because a radio button allows you to only select one value. So occasionally when it comes to fields, this option will dictate the type of widget you can use. So just be aware of that, because it's not actually that intuitive on this page, because you don't really know, okay, so how do I switch between checkboxes or radio buttons? Well, you don't know unless you know that changing the allowed number of values actually changes the widget. Now, another thing which I want to mention with the type field is this section, allowed values list. So now that we already have content, so you can see that there's a message here saying there is data for this field in the database. The field settings can no longer be changed. So what does that mean? Because if we have a look here, you can see that WordPress has been, well, let's just save this and make sure WordPress has been selected. Okay, so you can see that WordPress has been selected. And so if we were to change, say, well, let's just remove Drupal and Joomla because they're not being used, we can save the form. But if we go back and remove this option, it doesn't work because it's being used. Now, another thing to be aware of is you can change the label because it's the key that is referencing this option. So this label can change as long as the key doesn't change. So if we were to go in here and edit it, you'll see that it's no longer WordPress, it's just this gobbledygook of characters. So let's just fix this up. So Drupal, and then, well, what was the last one? Joomla and Joomla. And then we hit save.